it more, right? And if this is expensive, we just consume less. And market is where interactions occur between consumers and buyers. Okay? So we will say, consumers and sellers or firms. Consumer, buyer are the same group, and seller or firms are interchangeable. And also the government. So basically, in the microeconomics, buyers, sellers, and the government. And prices of goods and services are determined in a market. So we have demand, we have supply, and the prices are determined. Some prices are not determined by the market, some prices are set by the government. So we will talk about this kind of policy intervention. Okay? And talking about the models, so because it is chapter 1, you may find it's not very difficult, right? Okay, what is a model? Model is a relationship. It's a description of a relationship between two or more economic variables. So we have two variables here, right? X and Y. If we change the variables, the label on these two axes, like price and quantity, then you know what? This would usually we call it demand. We have a demand curve and a supply curve, and the equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity, right? Okay, so for this is actually a demand-supply model, a very simple one. So we have relationship between price and quantity. Okay? So in this model, we are talking about price and quantity. But not only price and quantity. If we got higher income, we may have a higher demand, right? If our income increases, then the demand curve may shift outward, okay? Or if the price of the complements, 互补品 or the substitutes, 替代品, varies. If the price of other goods varies, the demand or the supply curves may shift as well. Okay? So we are talking about many variables. So understanding these relationships allows economists to predict how a change in one may affect the other. So, all right, we have some for all models, not only economic model. Okay, for physics models, sometimes we make some simplification. So all models have assumptions. These assumptions try very hard to simplify things because this world is so complicated. If we do not do some simplification, then it's hard to start to analyze anything. Okay? So for example, you want to tell your friends who is not an NCU student, and who comes to NCU to visit you, and you want to introduce them, or he or him, how to meet you, on Thursday morning, so you are in this classroom, and you want them to meet you, say, at 12 o'clock. So you send your friends a map. So this is the front door of the university, the front door. And you know there is a building, the administration building, right? 行政大楼. And we are about here. So you have to put something on the map. Do you think you will put every trees in the campus on your map? Every building, all buildings in the campus? Of course not, right? You will put some important, some easily to find points or marks, so that they can easily find you. So on the corner we have a 小木屋, right? The pancake store. And you will tell your friend that, okay, come and turn right to the end of the road and then turn left. And if you see there is a pancake house, and turn right, and I'm at the basement of this building, something like this, right? You will draw it as simple as possible so that your friends can find you easily. So it works. But if you give your friends a map which is so complex, so complicated, everything of the campus in or on the map, your friends, of course, will come across some difficulties to find you. You got what I'm talking about? Okay, so the point is that it depends. It depends on what kind of problems we will try to solve so that we use the model. If the problem is not very difficult, then we do not have to use a very complicated model. We use simple models can help us to solve maybe a lot of problems. Okay, so we have simplifications. And in this course, I will teach you how to interpret these models with intuition. So intuitive, graphical, and mathematical levels. And okay, we want to make some theoretical predictions because economic models can help us to make predictions so that we may test empirically. So empirically means something using the data. So evidence comes from the data. We may test the statements or the theory with data. So empirical, we translate into 实证, okay? And the economic models involve maximizing something subject to resource constraints. So for consumers, if we are buyers, we want to maximize our welfare or our well-being. We call it something like consumer surplus, something like that, satisfaction. And if we are firms, we try very hard to maximize our profit. Okay? So we are maximizing something, but either individuals or firms, subject to resource constraints. All right, these two terms are very important. You need to distinguish them. Economic models are used to make positive statements rather than normative statements. So for example, kidney market. You know kidney? Kidney. So how many kidneys do we have for everyone? Normally, 2, right? If you lose one, will you die? You will not die. So you may donate one to help those who need kidneys, right? But you will not do that freely, without any benefits, right? Most people, I would not say, oh, I'm kind enough so that anyone who needs my kidney, I'll give you one for free. Most people would not do that, right? So there is a market for the transaction of the kidneys. And so for positive statements, we may say something about the market. For example, if there is a kind of disease or some kind of illness, make people make more people need healthy kidneys, then you know the demand for the kidney will increase, right? After the increase of the demand, you will predict the price will arise, okay? It goes up, and also the transaction quantity goes up. So this is a kind of prediction by the model, and we may test this prediction with what? Empirical data. So we may collect the data and check if the price of the kidney arises or not. But if you make some statements, okay, kidneys are so important for human being, and this should not be transacted. There should not be a market for the kidney. Okay, it's a kind of value judgment, right? Value judgment is a kind of value judgment. So, normative statements, which means is a value judgment, it's not about correct or not. It's about you should do it or you should not do it. So this kind of statements cannot be tested empirically, cannot be tested by the data. It's not about the evidence. It's about you ought to do something. You ought to do something or you ought not to do something. Positive statements can be tested, okay? So the truth of a positive statement can be tested, while a normative statement contains a value judgment that cannot be tested. So you have to learn how to tell one from the other, okay? So far, any question? If you feel embarrassed to raise your hand in front of your classmates, you may put on your questions or problems on a note and put on the table in front of me, okay? During the break. So 5 minutes later, we are taking a 10-minute break. And 1.3, uses of microeconomic models. So we may use the models to predict individuals' behavior, individuals' decisions, and we may also predict firms' decisions and government decisions. So something like how do inflation, 物价膨胀, okay? Inflation affect the decision whether to rent an apartment or buy an apartment, to rent or to buy. And does it pay financially to go to college? So most of you, all of you, have already come to the college. But what about if the salary outside the university becomes very, very high? Say your monthly salary goes up to, if someone offers you a like 200,000 as one per month, monthly salary. Will you give up your study in the college and go to work or not? 200,000, 500,000, a million per month? Probably some of you may give up your academic achievement, right? Just go to the market and work. Okay? So should a homeowner purchase insurance, a fire insurance or not? Should you pay a lawyer by the hour or as a percentage of winnings? And for the firms, should a movie theater charge lower prices for matinees? Matinees means those sessions, movie sessions in the daytime. So because in the daytime, fewer people go to see a movie, right? So should we charge less, charge lower prices? So should Coca-Cola advertise more if Pepsi does? So in the soft drink market, Pepsi and Coca-Cola are two important ones, right? So it's something like a oligopoly market. Oligopoly means only few firms, say one or two or few, not too many firms in a market. So the interaction between these firms and the interaction between or among firms in competitive market are totally different. Okay. Okay. And about the government, what is the impact of a new tax? So the tax rate, what kind of tax rate should be levied on? Or San Francisco earn more money by raising the price of cable car rides. How many of you have ever been San Francisco? 有人去过吗？旧金山 San Francisco? One. Have you ever taken the cable car? The ding ding car, right? You know that? Okay. I tried that for several times. Fun for sightseeing tour. Okay, how can pollution taxes reduce global warming? These issues are for the government. Okay. So this is chapter 1, and just a kind of introduction about this course, microeconomics. Any question here? So let's take a 10-minute break, and don't come to see me this break because I want you, if you do not have this already, if you're not in the list, come to see me after 3 hours class, okay? Because I want you to go through the whole 3 hours so that you may make a best decision for yourself. Okay, take a 10-minute break.